Good morning. Wow. Should have cleared my throat before I went live, I suppose. Good morning and welcome to the Closers Cafe on a Tuesday morning, November 18th. Yeah, there we go. November 18th. This morning, the best, simplest, most effective weekly email newsletter for realtors, real estate agents. Something you could send every single week to your entire email database and uncover opportunities every single week. And more importantly, create more conversations, because all conversion happens in conversation. And the more conversations we have, the more conversations we have, the more conversations we have, the more contracts we will write. And the more contracts we write, the more closings we will have. And I mean, that's probably why you're tuning in here, because you want more closings. I think we all want more of those. I tracked my numbers because I'm going to make a short, punchy presentation, 15 minutes or less, maybe 10 minutes or less, walking through my three-step plan for closing 50 deals in 2026 with no ad budget. And in making that shorter presentation, I pulled my numbers. And in the last 78 days, I've had 11 closed transactions, 7 new listings taken, and it's either 7 or 8 other escrows, transactions that are currently in escrow but haven't closed yet. And the vast majority of those came from that three-step plan, which the longer version of that replay you can find in the free Skool community, depending most of you where you're watching, in the description above or below this video. You can join the Skool community for free, and it is under the classroom section at the very bottom. You can check that out. The three-step plan, it's a replay from last week's mastermind, three-step plan for closing 50 deals in 2026 with no ad spend. And it's not theory, it's what I'm doing in my business right now, and me just sharing that and laying that out for how that might look in your business. And if you want to partner with me to implement that plan, you can just text me right there and we can chat. But that's not today's topic. Today's topic is the simplest, most effective, and the good news is also, generally speaking, the easiest email newsletter, weekly email newsletter that you can be sending as a real estate agent or realtor. And I'm going to share a resource that I put together on this, and then I'm actually going to do the work of finding the deal and then scheduling the deal to be emailed out. And then we'll also use that as social media content as well. If you want the resource that I have, it's a Google Doc with my entire deal of the week system. And I'm pulling it up on the screen here because I wanted to, there we go. There it is. Here we go. Let me share on my screen here. If you're watching the TikTok live, you can come on over to Josh Schoenly Coaching on YouTube, and I'm sharing my screen here. This is my complete deal of the week system. Now, very transparently, you will hear 2 big names in the real estate space talking about a deal of the week, email and system, Jimmy Mackin and Sharon Srivatsa, great people, and certainly helping a lot of agents in the space. But just to toot my own horn a little bit, I actually have proof that I have been a proponent of sending a deal of the week since like 2008. And in fact, I have a very old PDF doc that I put together years ago, 2008 or 9, with 4 weekly emails. I sent 4 emails over a 4-week period and sold all 4 of the deals. Now, that is very unusual and, results not typical kind of thing, but it is possible, okay? It is possible. So if you want this resource as well as this one that I more recently created with 13 ways to find great deals for the active real estate investors in your market, the cash buyers who are looking for deals in your market, which is also a great way to find a deal to put in the deal of the week. You can DM me, you can text me. or even drop a comment, and I will be happy to share any and all of that. Let's get into the work here. We need to find the deal, and then we're going to create the email. We're going to write the email. Very simple email structure that I'll walk you through, and actually schedule this out to go to my email database tomorrow morning. I am, I'm always a proponent of being as transparent and authentic as possible. And I actually haven't sent out a deal of the week email in quite a while because I've been so busy. And so this is also for me to get back on the horse of sending this out every single week so I can create even more conversations, because the more conversations we have, the more contracts we write, the more contracts we write, the more closings we will have as well. So let's get into finding a deal right now. Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote here. I don't know if this will work. I don't know if we'll get enough comments here, but I want to take a vote on how we should find the deal. How do you want me in the resource? I have a number of different strategies for finding the deal. So should I use my MLS to find the deal? Should I use an additional resource like PropStream to get a little to do some ninja deal finding, or should I use one of the portals or auction sites? So comment below which one. Spencer says MLS. Spencer, thank you for that. Spencer says MLS. Who else has an opinion on this? So I can use directly in my MLS, which is Bright MLS for me. That would be option one. Option two would be I could use a data source that will find active and be able to pull some other filters in. Or number three, I could use one of the different portals, Redfin, or even some of the different auction websites. So I don't know, Spencer, you were kind enough to reply. I'm going to do it right in the MLS. Okay, so let's get right to it. Let me go back to sharing my screen. I'm going to log into Bright MLS. If you're watching on TikTok, first of all, thank you. Welcome. Hello. And you want to see my screen, you can go over to Josh Schoenly Coaching on YouTube. Josh Schoenly Coaching on YouTube. So I'm in Bright MLS. And I want to find a deal. I service all of the central PA area, specifically the 717 area code, which is 8 different counties. Okay. And I'm happy to service those. If you have anyone who's looking to move to Central PA, specifically Cumberland County or Dauphin County or York County or Perry County or Lebanon County or Lancaster County or Franklin County or Adams County, or even Mifflin County or even Juniata County, if you have anyone who's looking, we'd be more than happy to work with them, and we'd certainly be more than happy to pay a referral fee. But for my deal of the week, if we're going to get people that are interested and want to check it out, I want it to be, at least somewhat nearby. So I'm going to start by searching in my specific county for a deal of the week. So I'm going to type in Cumberland County. I'm going to start there. And I don't want to feature a new construction property in this example, although if that's your ideal client avatar, in other words, if retail buyers of new construction properties are your ideal avatar, then you should absolutely find a new construction property to feature as a deal of the week. And the way you could do that is find one that has some incredible builder incentives or special financing available, or like it's a closeout, or maybe they just put the model home, or any of those things, right? So like if that's your ideal client avatar, then embrace that and use that. That's not mine, or at least who I want to identify in this process, okay? So I'm going to say not new construction. And I want to look for, I'm going to look for a detached or a twin or semi-detached or an end of row townhouse. In other words, I don't want manufactured or mobile homes or anything like that. And I want them to be, I want to look for some motivation. So I'm going to say 60 or more days on market. Okay, so I've got the geographic location. We don't want new construction, the property type, and then 60 plus days on market. And look at that. I still have 87 properties are showing up. Okay, how else might I filter this? Well, let me go. I'm going to do probate. There are no probate Short sale. No short sale. Let's see here. Bank owned. 1. I might check that out. HUD owned. None. In foreclosure. None. Notice of default. None. All right, let's take a look at this bank owned one. Let's see what that looks like. This is funny. I actually submitted an offer on this bank-owned property with one of my investor clients that I picked up using my 3-step plan for closing 50 deals, 50 transactions in 2026. The same plan that I've used to close 11 transactions in the last 78 days, with 7 more in escrow and 7 new listings taken. So not too shabby. But I'm not going to feature that one as my deal of the week. I'm already negotiating with that bank for my investor client. So we're not gonna go with that. Okay. So let's go. I'm gonna switch gears here, and I'm gonna look for property condition. I want to look for below average or major rehab needed. There's one that says major rehab needed. What does this look like here? What does this look like? Okay. Major rehab needed. I wonder if they accidentally put this. All right, let's see what's going on with this. Cumberland Valley School District, that's great. It's Middlesex Township, that's awesome. Home needs a lot of work. This is the agent remarks. Pretty much a full overhaul, including removing the pool and deck, repairing foundation and general. This sounds like it could be my deal of the week. This seems like I'm going to call Derek. I'm going to call Derek, the listing agent, on this. 4994. I'm going to call Derek because I want to have the story. If I'm going to feature this, I want to have the story on this before we roll with it. We'll leave a message here, and then we'll get to the next step because I can already tell this is a good deal.
Hi, you've reached Derek Bixler.
Or a good reason for a deal.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To send a fax, press 4 now. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Derek, hey, it's Josh with EXP. Hey, man, I was calling about your listing at 335 Wolf's Bridge Road. Had a couple of questions for you. When you have a minute, if you could give me a buzz back, I'll shoot you a text now too. Why does it still say to send us fax, hit 4? Who's sending a fax? And how am I going to send a fax through my cell phone? I mean, what are we doing? I don't know. That's me being a little bit silly, but. Hey, Derek, it's Josh with EXP. Just left you a voicemail for your listing at 335 Wolf's Bridge Road. Give me a buzz back when you have a minute. A couple of things that seem weird about this. It says 1 full bath, 2 half baths. That seems odd. I want to confirm a few things about this. So hopefully he'll call me back soon. But what I'm going to do before I proceed with this is I'm going to do some extra work so that I can play up some information or details in my email and in my organic social post, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do, actually, no, I'm going to in Bright, or I'm with Bright MLS. We have access to a data provider called Remine. And I use Remine pretty frequently for a couple of different reasons. But one of the things I want to check right now in here is I want to see what some of the automated, the AVM estimates are on this property. So 324, 341, 317. Man, there's still maybe not a whole lot of equity potential here. So I'm gonna verify with another platform. I'm gonna log into PropStream. I'm going to log into PropStream here and see what we can find as far as ARV on this thing in PropStream. And really what I want to find out. So when you're verifying, when you're talking to a listing agent about a property like this that you want to feature as a deal of the week, or a deal that you want to use as bait, as part of that 3-step plan that I've been talking about and walking through, you want to confirm, if possible. One of the things I try to get from the listing agent is what's the best offer they've said no to. Okay. Have there been offers, and what's the best offer they've said no to? Because I want to see, and when was that? How long ago was that? Was that last week? Was it last month? Or was it last quarter? Right. Because I want to judge, if they're getting any more, if there's any potential more motivation. So I pulled up this property here. And let's see. It looks like, okay, so this is interesting. Oh, I was going to say it looks like it's free and clear. It's not free and clear. There is an existing mortgage on it, but it's a low loan amount and a pretty low interest rate. So there might be the opportunity to get creative on that potentially. The estimated value, even in here, it's saying 337. So if this needs major rehab, we're going to have to get it at a pretty significant discount. It's been on the market for 100 days. How many price reductions has it have? Because that's also, so it started at 360, and they dropped it to 325. So that's a pretty significant price cut. Okay, I've got, for now, I've got enough information. I've got enough ammunition to at least go with the next steps in the process here. I wanted to make sure I had the right. Yeah, that was Derek. Okay, so I've got enough ammunition to proceed with writing out the email to send as this. Now, here's if you're just joining and just hopped on, I'm talking about the best, simplest, most effective weekly email newsletter you can use or send as a real estate agent or realtor. It's the deal of the week. I've got resources, a full, complete, end-to-end system. It's a Google Doc here, walking through step by step how we do all of this, how we identify and walk through this entire process with examples of the emails, etc. But now we're going to get right into actually writing the deal of the week, actually crafting the email. And you'll see how simple this really is. Well, I might have to, there's all kinds of problems happening with Cloudflare this morning. Has anybody, have you had, anybody on here had any problems with different websites? Like Canva's jacked up, Namecheap was jacked up. I don't know if we have hackers, in the world again, messing with what's the word? Oh my goodness. Hosting and that kind of stuff, bandwidth. I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, we're gonna take lemonades. We're gonna make lemon out of lemonades, lemonade out of lemons. We're gonna make lemonade out of lemons. Lemons out of lemonade. Whew, that would be a trick. I would be a magician if I could make take lemonade and turn it into lemons. Anyway, here's how simple this can be. Subject line. Okay. Deal of the week in Central PA for first name. And I forget what the merge field is exactly for Bold Trail, but you can figure out whatever your merge field in. So that is the subject line, an example subject line. So you want to call out that it's the deal of the week and the area, right? So it could be a deal of the week for a particular city, for a particular county, or the entire area. Now I'm saying Central PA because I'm sending this to a large database. My database is pretty large, and I have people that are interested in properties all throughout Central PA. Okay. And just it doesn't matter whether or not they're interested in this specific property. I'm going to weave in the PS a reason for more people, even if they're not interested in this deal of the week in particular, for them to reply, because the more conversations I have, the more contracts I can write, the more closings I can have or attend or close, transact, whatever. Okay, deal of the week in Central PA for so-and-so, and then to make it relevant to the time, I like to go bracket, and it's going to be sent tomorrow, which is the 19th. I like to put in the date so people know the timeliness of this, that it's relevant and timely right now, okay? All right, I am going to cheat. I'm going to cheat by finding examples of my deals of the week. So in the resource that I promised, there's a link to another resource that has a bunch of example deal of the week emails and the exact the exact structure of it. So if you're watching on TikTok and you want to actually see my screen and what I'm walking through here, you can pop over to Josh Schoenly Coaching on YouTube. So I typically will have 2 sentences, and they're incomplete sentences. Then I'll have bullet points, and then the call to action, and then my signature file. And then what you won't see in these examples, which is foolish of me, but I do recommend it in the actual full system, is to include a PS in the email, because the PS will get you significantly more responses. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this, and we're going to edit this over on this other doc. Okay, so I'm going to copy this so I'm not starting from scratch. And we're going to go size 12 font, whatever size. Yeah, size 12 font is fine. Okay, so deal of the week in Central PA. Here's our Central PA deal of the week. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, single-family home on over an acre in CV Schools. And how do I want to frame this? Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you here. This is actually, if you get nothing else from this session, this might be the most valuable thing that you could get from this session. I'm going to show you an incredibly practical use of AI. Incredibly practical use of how to use AI, in this case, ChatGPT, in your real estate business. And there's any, oh my goodness, Cloudflare is blocking ChatGPT too, so we can't even use that. Well, what I was going to do, here's what I was going to do, and I'll do this on another session later this week when we're not having, we don't have hackers interrupting the world. I was going to find the details of this property on Zillow, or I could even copy them from my MLS and pop it into chat and say, can you help me write a simple deal of the week email about this property for me to send to my real estate database? Okay, that is a very practical use of AI, and not along the lines of what a lot of other nonsense out there of gurus teaching you or telling you how to use AI in your real estate business. That's a very practical use. Well, we can't do that because it's down. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to edit. I'm going to actually go in reverse order here. Okay, so I'm going to add a PS. I'm going to add a PS. Okay, I have an idea of what I want to say here, but I'm working through in my brain how to say it. So what I want to communicate here is that we have 13 plus strategies for helping our clients find the very best deals available right now. And I want to turn that into a question format where I'm expecting the reader, the recipient, to respond. PS, we have 13 plus ways for finding the best deals for our private clients, both on market and off market. We have 13 plus ways for finding the best deals, real estate deals available for our private clients. Would you like to chat about, man, oh man, I'm struggling with this. But this is important, right? So like this is the work of marketing. Getting good at crafting this messaging will be the difference between, little to no response and significant response, and turning this one email into multiple client opportunities. We have identified 13 plus ways for finding the best real estate deals available in the market, or right now. I may have to come back to this because I need to let my subconscious work on this. But once I get this, it'll be the difference between a little response and significant. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back up here. We're not going to include the price. Okay. We're not going to include the price. I don't like including the price in my deal of the week email, because the more information you give, the less response you will have. And all conversion happens in conversation. So we want to get as many conversation opportunities as possible, because when they ask, what's the price? And you tell them what's the price, and they say it's out of my price range, then you can ask a clarifying question and continue the conversation. Oh, totally get that. What is your price range? Or what price range would you like to stay around? Okay. So no price here. But I am going to play up the fact that price, let me see here, $35,000 price was just reduced by $35K. Okay, so we're playing up the fact that there was a huge price reduction currently. What else can we play up in this? Okay, so I'm looking at the MLS description. Screen porch and deck overlooking expansive yard. Incredible investment potential. Attached 2-car garage. Full basement with interior access. I'm going to play up the fact that there is no HOA. I'm going to play up the fact that there's no HOA, because that is important for a certain, demographic or a certain buyer type. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna include the fact that there is a screened-in porch and deck overlooking. I'm gonna say large screened-in porch and deck for entertaining. And what else can I put here? I usually want 4 to 5 bullet points. 4 to 5 bullet points. I'm going to say convenient, very conveniently located. I'm going to have 5 bullet points here. Very conveniently located. And I'm going to say, how am I going to, I want to play up the fact that there is an opportunity to push the value, right? That there is the fact that it needs renovated is an opportunity. So how can we, how are we going to play that up here? Property offers a perfect blend. There's also a screened-in porch. Needs renovation. Needs some renovation. Huge upside value. Something like that. That's what I'm gonna go with. Okay. It's not the greatest, but I'm gonna keep it moving along here. Okay. Here's our Central PA deal of the week. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, single-family home on over an acre in CB Schools. ... Very conveniently located. Needs some renovation. Huge upside value. Large screened-in porch and deck for entertaining. No HOA. Price was just reduced by, or I'm going to say recently, because I don't know exactly when it was, reduced by $35,000. I'm going to say, who do you know that might be interested? I talked about that phrasing yesterday on the live stream. Who do you know that might be interested versus do you know anyone who might be interested? Who do you know is exponentially better because when you say who do you know, they get their gears turning for who they know. If you say do you know anyone, it's an easy yes, no. And for most people, it's going to be a no, so then they won't do anything. So who do you know that might be interested? Some of them, for some folks, it might be them. I'm interested. Me. I'm interested, right? Just hit reply, and I'll get you all the details. Pics, floor plan, community details, and more. And then my short salutation, my full signature file. P.S. We have identified, and we got to get back to the PS. And if Cloudflare weren't all jacked up, I would be using ChatGPT or some other AI to help me with this. So, but I need to button this up. I need to button this up so we can put a bow on this and then get to the next steps in the process here of promoting how else we would promote it through our organic posting process. Okay. We've identified PS. We've identified we've identified 13 plus ways for finding the best real estate deals available right now. Right now, we've identified 13 plus ways for finding the best real estate deals available right now for our private clients, both on market and off. Is that something you'd like more info about? I got to clean that up. So I got to clean this up here and get this better dialed in for how we can communicate this value prop. The other way PS formula that has worked really well in these is this, and this is in the document that you can request. And maybe I'll end up doing this. Right now, there are 57 recently price reduced new construction homes available in Cumberland County. Would you like me to send you the complete list? Another example, so the formula is right now there are X amount of properties, blank type niche properties available in blank area. Would you like me to send you the complete list? So right now there are 32 homes for sale in 55 plus communities here in Central PA. Would you like me to send you the complete list? Another example, right now there are 17 homes for sale with a pool in Cumberland County. Would you like to check out the complete list? That's probably not a great one for right now since it's getting cold and wintertimey. But hopefully you get the idea, and that is a great one to get more responses. So how might I apply that to this one? Okay, So to use that strategy with this one, I could go and let's see here. I can't use Bold Trail still because Cloudflare is down. But Bold Trail, I can curate a list of recently price reduced homes, so that gives me the full list that I can send. And what I could do, let's do this here. How can I find in Bright here? Let's go in Bright here. And let's see how many price decreased. 108. There have been 108 recently price reduced. So here's how I could frame that. Okay, so I'm looking right in Bright, and there's 108 in the last 3 days. Actually, let's go last 7 days. Last 7 days, 343. Holy smokes! What is the criteria that this is using, or what? Okay, so it's all of the counties that I service. Okay, all right. So here's what I would do with that. I'd go 3 days. In the last 3 days, there have been 108 price reductions. So how would I turn this into the PS? Over the last in the last 3 days, there are or have been 108 properties. Let me think this through. Actually, let me just type this out. I'm going to type this out. PS. Actually, I'm going to put it on this one right here. I'm going to put as a PS number 2. PS. Over the last 3 days, there have been 108 properties actively listed for sale with a price reduction here in Central PA. Would you like me to send you the complete list? And even this, man, I'm struggling to communicate effectively. Maybe I've become too reliant on AI and Chat GPT and Claude and Manus to help with that. But that formula will get you a lot of additional responses. And the more responses you have, the more conversations you can have, the more contracts, the more closings. Okay. So over the last 3 days, and I'm going to put here in Central PA. I'm going to change it a little bit in parentheses. I'm just mixing it up. There are 108 properties for sale with a price reduction. I just don't like the way that wording is coming, but whatever. For now, it's better than nothing. I'd like to try and boil things down to communicate it in the simplest way possible, because a confused mind does not. It's not just that a confused mind says no. A confused mind just doesn't do anything, right? They freeze, right? They won't. In some cases, it's not yes or no. They just won't do anything, right? So I want to make this as easy to understand as possible. And for whatever reason, I'm struggling with that. But you get the idea. Okay. So the formula for the PS that you can all follow is, once again, I'll give you several. Right now there are, why don't I say, in the last 3 days, there have been 57. No, it just doesn't, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to move it on. I'm going to keep it moving along here and get to the next steps that I want to dig into, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to, because the other things on my list here, if Cloudflare is down, I might not be able to use it. Oh, I can make a Loom video. So that's good. I'm not really ready to make a Loom video. That's the problem. Just sold. Can't do that. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I think we're going to have a short live stream today. A short live stream while I wait for Cloudflare to come back on board, and I can take care of the rest of the work that I have lined up for the day. Yes, Cloudflare or Bold Trail is jacked up with Cloudflare. I don't know what's going on with that. So, deal of the week. Deal of the week. I'm going to let that be the main focus of today's session. If you want any of the resources that I shared with the full system, the example emails, the PS structures, anything along those lines, so you can R&D, rip off and deploy in your business, all you have to do is shoot me a DM, or you can drop a comment, or you can text me directly at 717-571-0456. I will be more than happy to share any and all of that. As soon as Cloudflare is back online, I will then actually schedule my deal of the week email to go out. So here's a couple more things that I can share with the deal of the week. When should you send it? Well, I would say that it's better to send it whenever you send it than not send it. But ideally, you should send it in the morning or after lunch on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Okay. So ideally, you would send it like mid-morning or after lunch, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And what I would encourage you to do is create a regular cadence. So by that, I mean, if you normally, like I'm going to schedule mine to go out tomorrow morning at either 10:30 or 11. And now that I'm committing to getting back on the schedule of sending this every single week, I will do that and schedule that every Wednesday. So this will be a recurring theme on the Closers Cafe, which is on Tuesday. I will find my deal of the week to feature in my Wednesday email. So keeping that regular cadence and sticking to that, creating the habit of doing that every single week and doing it at the same time will create the habit of the recipients to be looking for your deal of the week each and every day. And why Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in late or mid-morning or early afternoon? The data says that you get outsized higher open rates during those windows. Okay. Sherry said, I love the resources. You bet, Sherry. So I'm going to try and drop them. Here's what I'm going to try to do. And I can't guarantee that it will work because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm going to try and drop the resources as comments. There's a couple of different resources here. And I'm going to try and drop them as a comment in the chat. And Sherry, if you don't see that in the chat or anyone else, just go ahead and DM me or you can text me, okay? And I'd be more than happy to share those with you, okay? So there you have it. Deal of the week. It is the best, simplest, most effective weekly email newsletter you can and should be sending as a real estate agent or realtor. Create the habit, because that email, and specifically, and here's what not to do with this. Don't put images, don't put links, don't put like your accolades in there. Don't put any of that in there. It's a text only email that the only thing they can do is reply or not reply. Reply or not reply. There's no links in there. They can't go look at it. There's no preview image. There's no video. There's no nothing. Text only, where their only option is reply or not reply. Reply or not reply, because we're trying to get more replies so we can have more conversations, because the more conversations we have, the more contracts we will write, and the more closings, the more commission checks we will deposit, in our case at EXP, direct deposit into our bank account, okay? So I'm going to keep it short and sweet today because of the issues with Cloudflare, and I have a busy schedule as well. I will be recording a shorter version, a punchier version of my 3-step plan for helping you, for myself, and helping others close 50 deals in 2026 with no ad budget. That will be uploaded later today. I'll walk you through that. And that plan and that strategy is the main reason why I've been able to, in the last 78 days, I looked it up this morning, last 78 days, I've closed 11 transactions. I've taken 7 new listings, which are still, I have 7 active, I think. Actually, no, I have 5 active, 2 are going active later this week. And then 7 more deals in escrow in the last 78 days. primarily, not exclusively, but primarily from that 3-step plan. And if you're curious and you just, you can't wait, I can understand that. You can immediately go and join the free Skool community. The link is in the description. The link is in the description. You can also check it out right here. This is the free Skool community, Leads, Listings, Leverage, Leads, Listings, Leverage. Go to Classroom and right down here, Off-Market Matchmaker Masterclass. Check it out right there. A shorter version, that is several hours long. A shorter version, you can go and check out from last week, the replay under replays. Check that out. I'll have a shorter version of that shared later today. And if you want help executing that and you want to partner together so we can help you implement that and help you close 50 deals in 2026, just shoot me a text so we can schedule a time for us to chat and explore what that would look like for you in your business. Thanks for spending time with me this morning. I'm going to get to getting and take care of the things that I can while we're waiting for Cloudflare to come back online. And as always, I appreciate you spending time with me this morning. And if you aren't or haven't already checked out leaddeck.ai, whatever, scrolling on the bottom, check out leaddeck.ai, create your free account. You'll get 100 free credits, which you can use towards free leads. Please do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, all of that good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow's topic? I think I like scheduled out or tried to today, schedule out a little bit more. Wednesday, I'm going to do a little precursor to the mastermind topic, which is Wednesday tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is cold outbound or cold outreach versus warm inbound for motivated sellers, for cash offer request leads, sellers that need to sell, not people that are just, thinking about selling or curious about their home value. I'm going to break down the differences in those, what has worked for me, and how to convert each of those. And so on the live stream in the morning, I'm going to break down some cold outreach that I have running this week and what that looks like, who the audience is, the script that I'm using for that, and how that is working. And then we'll do the deep dive on the mastermind. If you want to register for our Wednesday mastermind, they are free. And we do those on Zoom so they can be a little bit more interactive. You can go to growwithjosh.com/MM. growwithjosh.com/MM for mastermind. If you can't find that link, if it doesn't work, DM me or text me 717-571-0456. I hope that helped. I hope you use the deal of the week email template and newsletter to create more conversations, to write more contracts, and to ultimately have more closings. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Commit to taking action and implementing so you can win the day, win the week, and win the last quarter of 2026.